not serving ourselves and what we need because of someone else's comfort. And I'm a grown-ass woman now, and if someone says something bad, I know how to deal with that. Or if it's children, we can explain, and the more that we do explain or talk to people and show people, the more acceptance there is going to get. I love this ball mannequin challenge. I haven't heard about that. I think that's so rad to say, the prime of fashion and all the things. Why can't being a bald woman be normalised, There's a really amazing lady in America called Christy Valdezeri, and she, I met her actually in LA last March before the whole world shut down. And she was the first bald model in Swimsuit Illustrated. And she's doing that, she's like, I want to normalise being bald as a bald woman. Like men, they get away with it. She's like, why can't women be too? Like, this can just be a look, which it is. So I started wearing my no wig to the gym, and it was liberating. You know what? No one cared. No one cared to get any looks. And then I just started. I love my wigs, and I love how pretty they look, but I love also how I look without it. So I have a lot of lovely freedom wigs. That's I guess why I was always going to them, and it was the habit of getting up in the morning, putting it on, then just not taking it off until I went to bed. And I got in this habit. For years, I would never walk out of the house without eyeliner on to hide the lashes, right? If mum came around and saw me without eyeliner, she's like, you must be sick. Like, it would be the first thing I got up on the day and put on. Like, I'd be unwell if I had eyeliner. So suddenly things started being stripped away, right? I was wearing the eyeliner, and then suddenly not putting on the wigs and going days without it. And this was in St. Luke Mall here in Auckland, and I walked in, and didn't think of anything all the time, but as I walked out, and that's why I took a photo, I realised that this is the first time I've been bald in a public place or a mall like that since I'd be a kid. And I was like, and it was non-eventful, there's no looks, there's nothing, no one cares. And I just realised I've been living this whole life caring what other people thought or how they would feel when no one cares. And then you do get the odd kid, and if they're a little bit too obvious, staring too much, I just stare them right back in the eye until they get a couple like, you're 10, you know better, do not stare at me. Or I get little kids who ask questions, I'll talk to them, or I get smiles from people, or I'm sure probably I got someone to stop, like someone was biting me, and they screech and stop.
Just was down there doing that.
And he screeched for a stop like that.
She was always
He's like,
doing
oh, have you
that.
heard about this treatment? This treatment. I looked at him, I was like, I don't have cancer. I was like,
just put
very
them up
rude to
there,
approach people on the street
one
trying to give them medical advice. Man's like hurried off on his bike. So I guess you will get good at that, but that's just, it's been the most. I stood up here 7 years ago, and I am fully at acceptance, and I was, but it's just amazing. I just realised that it is forever growing, and a relationship with alopecia is forever growing and changing. And yeah, this summer I'd be say I'm 50-50 bald or with hair, whereas that's never happened before in my life. I feel so confident in it, and just realise and I feel sad for myself that I just sort of like caring what other people thought so much when it doesn't really matter. And it's just such a comforting place, and I know it can take. I've been bald for 27 years, and that takes a long time to get there. So if there's no shame in anyone's different journey. I mean, you're amazing. You've got there way faster than I have. But there's also no shame in having the wig, and I still love my wigs and my hair, and I think there's fun to play with. I'm a girly, and I like the prettiness behind them too. But then I love this side of it. It's just, I just find it so interesting that this is just it is a forever thing and a forever battle that you sort of go through, and you're always taking tiny steps, and that's all that matters in the end of it. Bring down here. Hold on, my notes. I see I've just winged it. I have the one thing that I have now found tripped me up and got me a bit sad is now navigating that with my children. So I've got 7-year-olds, and they started school. They're in year 3, so I started 3 years ago. And even though that was when I first kind of started rolling around bald a lot more, especially from the gym or whatever. And I found myself once again putting on my wig to go walk in and pick up my kids, because God, I remember how cruel kids are, and I didn't want my baldness to affect my children and people be cruel to them. And I know they're not ashamed. When they gosh, they just know that I'm bald and chat, and it's just never like a thing. And I'm not ashamed of myself. I couldn't deal with that. I guess it brings back it triggers the PTSD. I was scared of my children getting bullied because of my baldness once again, and here we go on this merry-go-round cycle. And that is something that I've been working through and empowering them with what they can say when they are in that aspect. And it did actually happen. I was with their friend. I actually don't like this kid. Telling some bad one. I've been trying to keep separating them. And I was even in my car and I had my cap on because I came from the gym, because I always wear my cap at the gym because my sweat in the eyes, right? No eyebrows. Oh. So I had the cap on. I pulled up and he just and the kid knew I had no hair. And he's asked me, he's like, can you take off the wig? I was like, I don't take off my wig in the mud, mate. Like, no. And it was at random places. And he just pointed and he's like, she has no hair. I screeched off and I yelled, I was like, Benji. I was like, you never say that to anyone. Text his mum, got an apology. But I was like, oh my God, that was my work, my worst fear kind of happened. And I said to the boys, I was like, next day, what did he say and what did you do? And he's like, yeah, we told him that you have no hair and it doesn't matter and you're amazing and it's not nice to talk to point at people and things like that. So I was like, my worst fear happened and we got through it. But yeah, that was a funny new little feeling in this forever roller coaster of going, oh God, what I look like is impacting someone that I love, and if that's going to hurt them. So it never really changes, does it? I'm just blabbering, as you can tell. I feel like you're talking about yourself, right? It's an easy subject. I guess I know that it's sometimes easy for me to stand up here, right, and say, oh, I got scouted to be model, and I had a modelling career, and that's why essentially was being told that I'm beautiful, so, I recognise my privilege in that maybe make it easier to get this level of acceptance, and that's, thinking about this and thinking about talking here today, and it did, and it helped me, and not everyone gets that, but that's what I sort of was thinking about. I was like, yeah, I was playing a character in a role this whole time. I was putting on this model and a hat, and it wasn't the true person who I was to project into my everyday life, and I think that's maybe finally why I feel like I've come to this next side where I don't do that anymore, and that when I look in the mirror, like, this is me, I take it all in, I'm not playing a role anymore, and when I'm taking off my hair, it's not to dress up and come this thing and have the photo, it's just to be me. And I think that is that little next level of whatever acceptance is. And I remember when I was young and they'd be like, it just comes with age, like confidence and all these things. It just really does. I've had babies now, mid-30s, and I just feel like I'm finally at home and who I am and my body, and I look at this and I love this and I will take it out in the world, but I also love what I look at my hair, and it's cold in New Zealand, like in winter that gets worn a lot more, I tell you that. But I've put myself first. Instead of caring about other people, my other thing, I'm empowering myself to speak up for myself for when the people do say the bad comments or the mean things. So I think that is what, people get away with stuff, they'll run with it, And I feel like if I can stop kids saying something or teach someone or educate someone, that it's better for our whole community. And that same aspect, empowering my children too as well, and empowering the people around me. And I massively, your vibe accepts your, it attracts your tribe, right? And I feel like that's what I put up there now when I talk. Of course there's shitty times about alopecia and you want to cry and you can talk to your friends about it, but when I talk to people in public about it, or when strangers ask me about it, they mimic how you discuss it. So I have a smile on my face, I talk about it in a really positive way, and I educate them, give them information and facts, so they then go, people when they find out something interesting, they'll go and tell more people, because we can be a very well hidden condition, can't we? I had no idea until, especially jealous of your eyelashes, I take those, and that's the one thing, and I really am, no word of a lie. And it's really funny, not that it's a lot regrowth at all, but there's little wispy, I noticed one just the other one this long. I've never had a wispy one that length, and I've never had as much, I know there's sort of a lot, but the regrowth that I have, and I can actually feel here, I've never had it. All my hair fell out, and I know it's actually quite common for people to get an eyebrow back, or lashes, or bits and bobs. It went and it never came back, and this is the most I've ever had. I'm like, is it so weird if I reach I've clocked it, maybe it's that weird accepted thing, and now he's like, I'm just gonna tease you, here's a little piece of hair, now that you're fully happy or what weird growth. I don't know. Maybe it's that or till I was college I've been hoping. But I really don't think grow it. But if someone was like, here's a pill, you could grow your hair back, I hand on heart, 100% genuinely would not want it. I would hate my hair to grow back. And that's right, and I'm lucky. But the lashes, it was a pill for lashes, yes please. I guess that concludes me wrapping up all of this today. As I covered some of everything.
Questions?
Pardon?
Any questions?
Yes, questions. Any questions?
I've got one, Anna.
Yes.
Because my little boy's 2.5, so I haven't got to the stage. He's in the big preschool now, so
Yeah.
I've gone from the nursery where the kids don't see food to also having 4-year-olds.
Yeah.
I'm curious. What do you get the boys? What do you get them to explain in a simple child way of what alopecia is?
First I taught them the words, they got it.
Yeah.
And I just tell them, I try not to use the word disease with them, and I think with kids as well, because I think it's scary, it scares kids. So they always tell them, Mum has alopecia and it means that she doesn't grow any hair. That's their simple explanation of it.
Yeah.
And then I've realised that I need to kind of empower them on, like, if someone says something bad about your mum, like, you can stick up for them and you're allowed, if you can tell the kids are in a mean mood, I'm just like, you tell them. I was like, you tell a teacher they're speaking unkindly. I was like, well, you tell me and I'll come explain it to them properly, and get down on their level. But yeah, that's what I found was the best thing I did, was because when it sort of first happened and they didn't kind of know what to do, like we actually we role played with it. Like I was like, kids could say this or do this, and I think because we had talked about it then, they weren't so in shock and like, I don't know what to do. So I really gave them like a full roadmap on, this is what you can say, this is what people might say to you, how do you want to deal with it? Okay, babe, that's great, maybe we can tweak it and do this. I found that helpful. But thankfully nothing too much now. I had someone once try and DM me and told me that I need to cut my kids' hair, and it's obviously my long-held issues with it, because my twins used to have really long hair until 5, it was to there. I'm like, no, trust me, they just don't want to get rid of it. Any other questions? So I really rambled. See, I told you I was just winging it, but I just feel like this, we're a big community here, and it doesn't all need to be all this formal thing. I just wanted to have a chat. Yeah. Anything else?
It's more personal than your last video from last Christchurch.
Yeah. Anything? Come on. Usually one starts anything else.
Just remember, guys, she's only here until lunchtime and then she's jetting off, so get in now.
Or you can grab me if it's private or something, Cool. I hope that was good. All my notes in here, and you can tell there's food in the pocket. I was like, oh God.